On Thursday, Ohio reported nearly 8,000 new COVID infections, the most since January 12th. Lead investigator Brian Duggar joins us to discuss some of the latest data. Now, Brian, President Biden is making a big push, as we heard, to get people vaccinated. Talk about some of the data and how effective the vaccine is.
Hi, Amanda. Yeah, last week I talked about Denmark. They're at about 70% fully vaccinated in their population, and they've declared the pandemic is over. Now, it doesn't mean that they're not having COVID-19 cases, but what it means is that they're not seeing a lot of hospitalizations or deaths. So that's where we want to get. And in the United States right now, we're about 54% fully vaccinated. In Ohio, 48.5%. But we do know when we look at the data that the vaccine does work. Over the past week, 90% of hospitalizations and 95% of all deaths were in the unvaccinated. And then you go back to January, the number is actually about 97.2% and 98.8% as far as hospitalizations and deaths being in the unvaccinated. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to that 70% number. I think that's a good number to get to, 75%, and I think that'll really start to bring down the numbers. Maybe it won't stop the Delta variant surge, but probably future surges, hopefully.
Yeah, we got a little ways to go then, as you mentioned, where we are just over that 50% mark. Now, we know that our schools are seeing a lot of infections. I just talked to a pediatrician who says they're swamped right now. Are these numbers increasing, or are they going to start leveling off?
Yeah, unfortunately, Amanda, they're going up significantly. When you look at, there are several districts right now that have more than 100 kids infected. And this week, there were 6,750 at least. Some of the schools weren't reporting the data quite right, but we know there's at least 6,750 students and more than 1,050 staff members who are infected this week. Again, this is not cumulative. This is just in the past week. And unfortunately, these numbers have gone up significantly from last week, and there's no reason to believe that they're not going to go up next week.
Not going to continue to go that way. You know, I mentioned there were 8,000 new cases in Ohio yesterday. What are we looking at locally here in Northwest Ohio?
Yeah, locally, we're no different. I mean, Northwest Ohio, I mean, we've got about 350 people in the hospital right now. 2 months ago, we had 11 that were in the hospital from COVID. When you look at Lucas County, we had 166 cases yesterday, about 150 the day before, so these numbers keep going up. Bowling Green, they're at a cases per 100,000 of about 650. Perrysburg's about 400. So, I mean, 650 is 6.5 times the level of high incident. So basically all around our area, we're like the rest of Ohio. We're seeing a large increase.
Okay, well, thank you once again for always staying on top of those numbers for us and bringing us the latest, Brian.